The Jags can win the AFC South with a victory. They can still make the playoffs with a loss, but they will have to have some help. The reason why this line continues to increase and move towards Jacksonville is because of Trevor Lawrence returning. But is it too many points now, Chelsea? You're the Titans gal.
Well, also, we might get Ryan Tannehill in this game, which is not a good thing for the Tennessee Titans. He has had some good games, but he is a shell of his former self. And I was just talking about the Tankathon website. Right now, the Titans have no business winning games. There are 3 teams that are sitting at 5-11, and because of, I think, strength of schedule or something, the Giants and the Chargers sit ahead of the Titans. If the Titans win and the Jets lose, the Jets also pass up Tennessee in the draft order. So I feel like there is a big difference between, 5, the 5th overall pick, and the 9th overall pick. So I feel like the Titans, if it's close, they're not going to want to win this game. Or at least they shouldn't. I can see Mike Vrabel being super competitive, no, we're going to win this game. But he shouldn't, again. And he's going to have Ryan Tannehill probably starting since Will Levis is a little banged up. I don't know. Buyer beware on my Titans this week.
I kind of like your Titans. Plus 5.5. Here's the thing. Even if Trevor Lawrence returns and the Jags will be motivated, the Jags just have not looked good at all. Aren't they 2-4 in their last 6? And even if Trevor Lawrence returns and the line is telling you that he will, he's not going to be 100%. And when he was hobbled before and did not look good on the field, he wasn't effective. So I think this is way too many points, especially on the road. And knowing Mike Vrabel, we know Mike Vrabel as a dog tends to do his best work. I know you're hoping for that high draft pick, and I know Ryan Tannehill doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. I think I would lean Titans here and grab the points, grab the 5.5. Buffalo has found a way. They have been grinding through the latter part of the season. Chelsea, you got a ticket on Buffalo to win the division? I don't believe in the Miami Dolphins. Actually, this is less about the Bills, and it's more about me not believing in the Dolphins. They're banged up on the offensive line. Last week, Eli Apple was in the secondary because they have secondary issues. Holy Lord, do you want to trust that guy? They're banged up. Jalen Waddle has been out, and the Bills have sort of shifted the way they do things. It's not as pretty with Josh Allen doing everything, but they control games a little bit more time of possession, more handing off the football, and it's working. So I will take a team that has more of an identity as opposed to a team that has one win over a team with a winning record. Bills.
Yeah, I'll be on the Bills too. Not only just because I have a Bills futures ticket 2-1 to win the AFC East, but also, like Jenk said, I think this is one where you watch the injury report because the injuries are starting to pile up for the Miami Dolphins. Bradley Chubb's going to be out of this one on the defensive line. Xavier Howard likely out for this one as well. And it's just been a team that's been nursing a ton of injuries. And we haven't even talked about the offensive line yet. You cannot throw the ball down the field if you don't have time from your offensive line to make said passes. So it doesn't matter how explosive your receivers are. You have to have some time from that offensive line to get the ball down there. So I'll be on the Bills. Let's go Bills. Bills in, not Bills out.
Green Bay nearly needs a win to lock up an NFC wild card, and they face, of course, their rival, the Bears, in Week 18. Aaron Rodgers was famous for owning the Bears 24-5 lifetime, but he ain't there. He's a Jet, and he's not even playing. But they do have Jordan Love, who is 1-0 against the Bears lifetime after winning earlier this year. So Jinx, Chicago, Green Bay, Packers in, Packers out.
Packers out. Bears. Bears. Hey, Justin Fields playing some good football right now. He's not blowing our minds, but he is steadily improved during the course of his short career in Chicago. The Chicago defense is playing really good football right now. I like the Bears +3, and the pressure is all on the Packers. Let's see what you can do, Jordan Love, in this spot, because the Bears are locked in, and all they have to do is go play football, not worry about a damn thing. Chicago.
Let's start with this Clippers and Suns game. Clippers are a good squad. They've been surprisingly good, but, when their stars play, one would think. So what's the read here on Clippers matching up with the Suns?
Yeah, I think the Clippers right now are just a much, much better team than Phoenix. So even with LA being on the road, I'm going to lay the 3.5. Clippers are better on both sides of the ball. The Suns, they don't have the defense to shut down the multiple offensive threats that LA has. I mean, LA has 6 double-digit scorers on their roster right now. Kevin Durant is still out in this game, and I mean, that's going to be huge in a game like this where the Clippers defense is so good, and you need those players that can, kind of score at will like KD can. So it's left to Devin Booker. Bradley Beal has not been all that impressive in the few games he's been in. So I just think that this is a Clippers squad that's much more talented and playing better right now. I know the Suns have won a couple in a row, but they haven't exactly beaten any of the big gauntlet teams in the NBA. The win over the Magic was decent, but nothing too special. And let's not forget that the Suns knocked the Clippers out of the playoffs last year. So Clippers looking to get a little revenge tonight. I'm going to lay the 3.5 on the road.
Let me tell you, the first night, I nearly didn't make it past the first night. And I owe the lovely Catherine a big time favor, or 2 or 3, because the first night we had an amazing time. We did a little bit of everything. We went to some nice restaurants. We went to the casino. We played blackjack. I'll tell you that story. We won some hands playing blackjack, and Catherine doesn't ever really gamble, and she was having a great time. She got the bug. We had a great New Year's. I met some friends of mine. I saw some friends from high school. I randomly saw 3 people I went to high school with. So it was amazing. But the first night, we went on a ghost tour that Catherine scheduled. This was not a ghost tour. This was a pub crawl. And it went from this random dude who was totally mailing it in, saying something about the history of New Orleans. It wasn't even scary. Some of these stories were just like historical perspectives on New Orleans for 5 minutes, and then he'd be like, okay, let's go in here and have a drink. It's like, okay. So we'd go in, everyone would like slam a hurricane, and then 15 minutes later, he'd walk outside, walk about 5 feet, and be like, this is what happened here a few years ago, and some people say she's still around. Let's go into this bar and have a drink. We're like, okay. 4 drinks, 1 hour. I didn't have dinner. Well, let me tell you something. I decided that it was time to sing karaoke on stage in New Orleans while hugging a hurricane. And it was not my best performance. I don't know how I got home. I know this. That Catherine said we got to the hotel, and I was like, hey, can we just go back to the hotel? And she's like, honey, we're here. I'm like, I know, but we could just go home. I want to go to bed. And she's like, we're right here. And I go, I just want to go. And she goes, you know what? You're right. Let's go. And I was like, okay. And I just walk up the stairs, and we go to bed. So that was not my best. I woke up the next morning dying, absolutely dying. But then I made it through, recovered, and things sort of tempered from there. But New Orleans almost knocked me out after one night. One night.
Okay, so was that the night before New Year's Eve? Because that's the tricky part of New Year's Eve weekend, is that you can't go out too hard on Friday, because Saturday, I believe, was New Year's Eve. Or was it Sunday? I don't even remember, and I don't even know. So New Year's Eve looked cool, though. Like the Peacock Room, that looked really cool.
It was awesome. So I woke up on New Year's Eve, and I was like, oh, my God. I don't know. I'd forgotten about New Orleans. I'd forgotten what this place
Strap it in, buddy.
And I remember sitting across the table from Catherine and being like, Michael, it's 1 o'clock, and you absolutely are going to go out for New Year's Eve tonight. Like, there's no question about it. So I just kept hydrating, eating, and I felt like death. And finally, about like 4:35, I was like, all right, I got this now. I felt more like myself.